Yes, today we'll be looking at PHP form handling. What are forms? Or what is a form? A form is a document that is used to collect data, so as a web form. A web form or a form is an um, online interface that is used to collect data from the user. So in PHP form handling, PHP uses superglobals for their form handling. We have the get and the post. These superglobals, which is get and post, are used to collect form data. Looking at this code here, we have HTML body, we have form. Form is a tag. This is a form action. This is our form here. Using, we said we must have known how to use the HTML. So form action is equals to dashboard.php. We have method post. We have method post. Then we have input type text name is equals to name. Input type text name is equals to email. Then we have input type submit. Then we have the close form. This is how to write our form in HTML or PHP. But this form uses two type of methods. The method are either the post method or the get method. But here in this form, we have what's called the post. That's why we have method is equals to post. So with this method, we have the post method. So let's proceed. What we have here, when the user fills out the form above and click the submit button, the form data is sent for processing to a PHP file named welcome.php. Sorry, I made a mistake here using welcome.php. The form data is sent for processing to dashboard.php. Dashboard.php. That means there must be a file created named dashboard.php. So if you are using the welcome.php here, that means there will be welcome.php here, this action. Because action defines where the form should go or where the form should be processed when submit button is being clicked. So so when the form submit button has been clicked, then the form data is sent with the post HTTP post method. Remember I said we have two methods in sending form in PHP or in submitting form in PHP. We have the post method, HTTP get method, and the HTTP post method. So to display the submitted data, you could simply echo all the variables that you have submitted to the dashboard.php, and this looks like this. Dashboard.php you are going to create is going to look like this. This from this code we have here. Then after doing that, we now have the result. The output is going to display this way below. The output will now be uh, the username you have entered and the email you have entered. And the email you have entered. So let's quickly do one of the practicals about the form. The code above, the code I just left now, is quite simple. However, the most important thing is missing. You need to validate form data to protect your scripts from malicious code. This input we are entering here in the form here, we are not validating data. We are not validating the kind of data the user is entering. We're just collecting data for now. So to add more security measure to what the user is sending in, so there is need for validation. That's another form validation. So security is necessary when processing PHP forms. This page could not contain any form validation. It just shows how you can send and retrieve form data. So let's quickly do one or two practical about the form before I go to the get versus the post method. This is I want to create a form. I click by creating new file. After creating new file, I click on form.php and we have our code here. Then I will now have this. I want to write out my form now. So I will say the HTML tag form method or action. Don't mind, your action can be at this place before your method, or your method can come before your action. Anyone, but let me see form action method post method. So we have the open and close tag of the form. So we now have the input field, input type, you may use placeholder, and you may not use placeholder. You wish placeholder here just tell you what the user is going to enter into the form field. Let me show you. Enter surname or enter your surname. So after doing that, you can copy and paste this code again here. You can copy and paste this line in order to meet up with time instead of wasting our time. Then this place can be the email. You can say email. You can just say at gmail.com. Also give an example. This place now we have input type text. What kind of information we want to collect here? It is a text information. That's why we have input type text. So this is a placeholder. This one guides the user. It guides us. It guides the user in entering data into the form field. Then we have the input type text for the email, and you can also say email. You can say email here. It's correct. You can say text. So let me use email. So in the next line, we're going to say input type. And we have the submit. So once you have this is completed. Now don't forget we said uh, when this form is when entered is being clicked on this form, there is need for an action. Where is the form is going to be processed? Is the action field. The form is going to be processed at dashboard.php. So that is where the form is going to be processed. So let's launch this page and see we are going to have localhost, sorry, localhost, it's PHP length. See, mine is form.php. Let's see. Sorry, not start my server. Remember, you have to install some server and start your server in order for you to serve this page correctly. So let's see. You can see this is my form. You can also have another BR tag to give it more space. I have BR tag here. Also have another BR tag here. So that there will be more space in between the two form fields. Now this is how to write the form. You can see. Now we have enter surname. So anything you enter here, it will overwrite what we have there as a placeholder. The placeholder we have here is enter your surname. So once I enter my mail, so once you enter the email at gmail.com, let's see what will happen. Now see, it's telling us that the page is not found because the form has been processed to the dashboard.php, but we have not created the dashboard.php page. So there is need for us to create the dashboard.php page so that the form can be processed on this page. Let me just use the back button. And this place, if you type in anything and press submit, it is going to tell you please include an @ in the email address because I'm using the in type email. If you use type text, it won't complain. But if you are using input type email, it means you have to type a correct email, in a normal email manner. So now the form action is dashboard.php. So there is need for us to create a page called dashboard.php. So let me create the page now. New file dashboard.php. So I'm going to process this form again on my browser. Let's see. Let me type RBOK, my email, submit. And see, it's not complete to us that the page is not found anymore, but the page is returning empty. So now what we are trying to achieve here is that once you have submitted using the post method, so there is this for us to display this output here. Welcome, John. Your email address is blah blah blah. So let's see how we can do that using this code that we have here. So let's do that. So now on the dashboard.php, that is where, since that's where the form is being processed, that is where you are going to add your code to display what the user has entered into the form. So how do we do that? We do that by saying, we can try to say PHP, then we say, or we can use your normal HTML for display dashboard title. Then we put our PHP syntax here inside the body of the page. We close the PHP. Then we say welcome. Welcome. We now put PHP. So since we have put PHP code here, PHP open tag and close tag here, you may not need to open the PHP tag anymore. Let me tell you what I'm saying. Just go directly by saying echo. Can see echo echo underscore post. This is super global now that captures information from the form. Now put name here, put semicolon. Or let's do this way, sorry. Let's just go this way, sorry. PHP echo name, close the PHP tag here. You can add your BR tag here, that is an HTML tag. So then we come to this place. Your email, you can have it twice, the BR tag twice. Your email is, you can put some column here, you can put column here to separate. Your email is, then we do what? Write another PHP function, echo, we post the email. This PHP super global here is being captured from the form. What you have here, the input type. Okay, the input type here is text. Sorry, input type text. I did a mistake here. Then the name. This is what you have inside this name here. This name, which is used to be that is used to identify each of the field when the form is being processed on the process page, or when the form is being processed from the server, or that's what you use to identify each of the field when you are about to submit them to the database. So the name is used to identify them. So the name for this input type name is name. So that is why we are capturing name using the super global here. Echo post name. The other one is echo post email because we are having input type name email here. Or let me just say user email, or let me say user mail, or can I say user underscore email. So if you are using this name here, that means in your dashboard of your super global post, so you have to put user underscore email here. But what you have here is must be corresponding with what you have in the name for the form. So anytime the user clicks submit now, it's going to give us this output that we have here. Welcome, the surname of the person and the email address of that user. So let's test this and see how it works. Let me try. Let's say I enter Dami and I enter tech in tech at gmail.com and press submit. What do we have? Welcome Dami. Your email is tech in tech. So that is how you normally see when you log into a page of the website. On your dashboard, you're going to see welcome with your username, welcome back, or even some of our bank app. When you log into those app, they tell you welcome back with your surname or with your name because your name is being guessed under the post method or the guess method. So let's talk about the difference between the post method and the guess method. The difference between the post method and the get method is this: get versus post method. Both get and post method create an array, e.g., array with a key value. A key value. This array holds key or value pairs, where key are the names. The name you put inside the forms, like input type text, name is equals to quote. The name used to identify each field. Are the name of the keys which they hold some value the user has entered from the form. So this array holds key value pairs where key are the names of the form control, yes, and values are the input the user has entered, the input data from the user. So both get and post are treated as dollar underscore get and dollar underscore post. These are super globals, which means that they are always accessible regardless of the scope. Either is a local scope variable or is a global scope variable. Since they are super global, they can be accessed from anywhere, any function, class, or file without having to do anything special. So um, the get method is an array of variables passed to the current script via the URL parameters, while the post method is an array of variables passed to the current script via the HTTP post method. When to use the get method? Information sent from a form with the get method is visible to everyone. All variable names and the values are displayed in the URL. Get also has limits on the amount of information to send. The limitation of is about 2,000 characters. However, because the variables are displayed in the URL, it is possible to bookmark the page. This can be useful in some cases. Get may be used for sending non-sensitive data. Note: get should never be used in sending password or other sensitive information, because when you use get method to post an information or from a form, anytime the user fills the information and if there are sensitive data in those information, probably like password, ATM pin, all those things, once they fill it and they're using get method, those information they filled will be displayed at the URL address bar of the browser, which will be visible to the users, which will be visible to everybody, and people can bookmark that page. So that is why we don't use get method to store or to post a form when we have sensitive data there. Though our name is not sensitive, our password can be sensitive, our PIN can be sensitive. So our OTP at times can be sensitive. So that it says that we don't review using the case method. We don't post those information using the case method because they are not secure. It is visible at the URL of the browser. Let me tell you what I'm saying here. Let me just show you an example. When you use a guest method inside this form instead of post, you can use get method because this information we are collecting here are still not yet sensitive. You get. So when you now refresh, let me go back and say PHP learn. Though there will be an error here, the error that will occur is that because we are using a guest method, we have changed it to a guest method, but from the processing form page, we are echoing the post, which is wrong. Both of them will be equivalent. If you are posting, you are posting, and if you are getting, you are getting. So let's see the sample again. So once the user enter the name Arubiwe and enter his or her email, because we are using the get method, when they submit, the information is going to be displayed on the URL of the browser, which is this. You can see like a query string. It's going to be query string on the browser URL. You can see it here. The reason why this one is like this is because the post and the get method are not corresponding. That's why. So if you are using get method, that means this place must also change to get get. The other one must also change to get to. So by then you will not have any issue with it. So if the method is post, you have to be echoing post. If the method is get, you have to be echoing the get super global. So when I refresh this, there will not be issue. But the information is going to be displayed on the URL. So like this, it is not safe. It is not safe. If any of this is, let's assume this is a password that's not supposed to be reviewed. Let's say we have a bullet. For example, let me change one of this field here. Let me change this input type text to a password. Since it's a password, since it is a password, it is not supposed to be reviewed in the browser, right? Because it's a bullet field. Yet it will review because we are making use of the get method. Look at the sample here. Let me use my surname here. Let me use a Janoku. Let me type password. The password I'm typing here is Wasiu 1234. This password is bullet. But once you submit, it's going to be displayed here. Wasiu 1234. That is why when collecting sensitive information, you must not make use of the get method so as not to reveal yourself, and you can be hacked if you mistakenly use the wrong method for the different kind of for the processing of the form. So let's look at let me return this back to the post because we are using post quite some time. So, so here, anything you enter here at Gmail is going to be sent for processing to dashboard.php correctly. Sorry, I haven't seen this. Sorry, the reason why I'm showing this is because the form method has not been changed yet back to post. So I have to change this back to the post method. So get the correct data. So once you submit, so you're going to have welcome with your information. So now when to use the post, information sent from a form with the post method is invisible to others. All names stroke values are embedded within the body of the HTTP request and has no limit on the amount of information to send. Moreover, POST supports advanced functionality such as support for multi-pass binary input while uploading files to the server. However, because the variables are not displayed in the URL, so it is not possible to bookmark the page. Yes. So developers and programmers prefer using the POST method for sending form data. So thank you for today. I think we'll stop here. So we'll continue with our form validation. Thank you. God bless.